What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be telling you a story, a pretty interesting story of when I went out to the woods, when I went out to the savage lands, survival scenario, and I was out in the mountains, and it was a very scary situation where I didn't know if I was going to get out. I didn't know if I was going to make it to another day. Water was running low. We were running out of water. We are using a lot of water. It was a hot day, and we didn't know if we were going to escape. But yeah, this is a story of the time I had to get out of the survival situation. So this started on a pretty normal day. We went to our usual hunting spot, but that seemed to be the issue, that hunting spot was our usual area. So guess what? We were looking for something new. And in looking for something new, we saw a trail that led into the back mountains. Now keep in mind, this trail goes on for quite a bit of time. It goes on for a very long time. These mountains are pretty damn big. So when we got to our hunting spot, we were hauling a Jeep. We were hauling an off-roading Jeep. All terrain, that thing goes on rocks, goes on mountains, goes on trees. Whatever you think it could go on, it'll climb it, right? So we see this trail going into the back mountains, and we're like, you know what? We have a Jeep. We can easily go through this trail and explore and discover new areas. So that is exactly what we did. The group got in the Jeep. Some people were hanging from the top. Only two people are in the Jeep interior, so there was two people hanging on the back of the Jeep, and we were going through this rugged trail up and down mountains, over rocks. It was crazy terrain. The Jeep kept shaking, it kept going sideways and tilting and all those things, and those people in the back had to hold on for dear life because they could have fell off that cliff, you know what I'm saying? But it was intense. So the ride there, it was very slow. It's extremely slow because we had to go with extreme caution. This trail, it was very it was very unsecure. It was random. It had everything going on. It's a very dangerous trail, you know. Nobody really goes through this trail unless you got a really good off-roading vehicle. So we start going through the trail, and the more we go through the trail, we start seeing more deer tracks. We start seeing more signs of deer, of life, of animals. And eventually we stumble across this big track, this huge track of an animal, and we inspect it closer, and it turns out that it's a mountain lion. Now mountain lions, they they can be good news and they can be bad news. The good news is that when you see mountain lion tracks, you know that there is deer because the mountain lion has to survive and eat deer. So you know you're in a good area where the mountain lion knows it can get its food. The bad news is the mountain lion kills off a lot of deer and it can also kill you if you're not careful. So this made us at an all-time high, at an all-time caution. You know what I'm saying? We were looking all around for this mountain lion. Mountain lions do not let you see them. They are very elusive. So we did not expect to see it. So we kept going through the trail and we kept seeing more and more deer tracks. And the landscape, the nature, it started opening up. It started looking beautiful. It started looking amazing. And we were like, man, we have never seen nature look like this before. We've always been used to our camping spot that's kind of dirty in the sand, whatever you want to say. And we were not used to some place looking so good and so beautiful. So we were like, wow, we really found a good spot and there's so many deer tracks. So after hours of going over rocks and tilting, we finally made it to a spot where we wanted to hunker down and camp, and the sun was going down, and it was going down fast. So we had to get to that spot and hunker down. So that's exactly what we did. We hunkered down in our spot, and now we're at the campfire, we're drinking beers, we're having a good time listening to music, and then all of a sudden over the mountain we see these big lights coming over the mountain. And we're like, what the hell? People are coming here at night. People are coming through here at night. We look at some big old lights. So now we get to see those guys and their lights. They come down, and it turns out those guys have been hunting here for years, and they have a shed, and they were kind of in their area. We're taking up their space, but it's all good. We have some beers. We talk to them, and while we're talking to them, they tell us about these gigantic deer that they're just getting out of that area. They show us pictures. It's like, yeah, we've been hunting here for years, and we have pulled some really big bucks from this area. So we start getting extremely hyped up. We're like, wow, we're in such a good spot. We're going to get so much deer in the morning. We're gonna wake up, we're gonna find a huge buck, we're gonna have a really good hunting right here. It's gonna be amazing. And those guys have been there for years. They have been in that area, they let us know about all of it. And they just stayed in their shed. They were in their shed and they just looked at whatever was crossing by. They weren't big hikers, they didn't like hiking too much. They just kind of stayed in their blind and, you know, did what they had to do. But we were hikers. We would cover a lot of terrain, a lot of land to try to find the deer. So that is what we did. We went to sleep, and early in the morning, to catch the deer before they wake up, we left at 4 a.m. And we see some deer. We see a lot of does hopping on the mountain, jumping up and down, and it's beautiful. We get to see deer. There's a lot of deer there. And someone on the radio goes, "Oh, there's a buck. There's a buck. It came out of the bushes." Because he was going through some bushes and he spooked it and it was hunkered down in the bush. So he radios us. He's like, "Yeah, there's a buck. There's a buck." So we spend our time going after this buck. Eventually, it's unsuccessful. It's a very smart animal, very good at escaping. That's what it does. So then we just relax. We just camp for the rest of the day. And now we're ready to go. We pack our bags. So we pack our stuff, we put it in the Jeep, and we're ready to go. And now we're like, you know what? Let's explore a little more. We really like this area. Let's check it out just a little bit more. So then we go farther down the trail and we're exploring and we like it a lot. And we come across a really beautiful area. And we're like, wow, it's so nice right here. Let's stay here for a little bit. So we just sit down in the shade. It's a hot day. We're having a good time just talking. We're in the shade. We're enjoying nature in a beautiful area. So after maybe an hour goes by, we're like, all right, let's go, guys. It's time to go. We got the Jeep. We got what we need. It's time to go, guys. We're doing good. So then, all of a sudden, when we come back to the Jeep, we hear the sound of death. And you know what that is? Sounds like this. Psst. You know what that was? That was our big old Jeep tire leaking air. Yes, sir, it was leaking. Something had poked it along the trail, and we were losing air fast. And we were hours in that trail. We were deep inside the mountains. No way to escape, no way to get out. Our only way of escape, truly, for that day, was the Jeep. And we had to make time. We had to crunch some numbers as we heard the tire slowly deflating.